Welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. My name is Cindy D. Whitmer, and I am the Midlife Makeover Coach, helping you turn your midlife into your best life, one step at a time. Through powerful conversations, my own midlife roller coaster story, and over 3 decades of helping people transform their lives through counseling and coaching, I am on a mission to help you create your own definition of success and happiness. Thank you for being here. Hey, everybody, it's Cindy here, and welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. I appreciate you joining me today. Excited to have a little chat with you. So, recently I took a trip to Texas because, as of right now, at least for a few more weeks, my daughter in law and 2 grandchildren live down there. And then, not far from them, I have one of my best friends from graduate school who lives in the area. And then also, I have cousins who live in the area, and actually a client who lives on the way as well. So I took this big driving trip recently. Drove my nice little car. I call Little Red because she's red, and she's a cute little car that I've had many years, and she's hanging in there now at 139,000 miles. But anyway, I drove a lot. I drove like 1,800 miles in during the week. And, with all that time on the open highway, it got me to thinking how life is like driving, or like driving is actually a metaphor for life. And so I had all these little ahas that, just kept coming to me while I was on the road. And of course, I couldn't write them down. But when I got back home and got back to my office and got to working again, I wrote some of those thoughts down and ended up sharing them with my coaching community. And the women were just they were really responsive. It really meant a lot to them. And I thought, okay, I'm going to share these with the podcast listeners as well. And hopefully something will really trigger a thought in you, or give you some good food for thought about life, as well as it did for them. So driving as a metaphor for life. So all these things I'm sharing about driving that I noticed, think about them in terms of living your life now. Okay. So number one, we can follow the quote unquote rules of the road, or the norms in our culture around driving, or not. It's a choice. And and there are really good reasons to follow the rules of the road, and then maybe there's really good reasons to follow the rules you've learned in life. But maybe you also want to kind of write your own rules in a way, and who knows in life. But there, we can either follow them or not. And number two, that driving, just as life is, it's a team experience. So even though I was traveling by myself in my car for the vast majority of this trip, it is a team experience, right? Because there's other drivers on the road. That's part of why following the rules of the road is so important, because you're sharing space, and there's always things going on, external factors when you're traveling down the road. And so it is a team experience, and it's important. It feels important to me in driving to be a good team player. And it does in life as well. It doesn't mean we always do things the same as the other members of the team. It doesn't always mean we think the same way on the road or in life, but it is a group experience. It's a team experience, and it's important to keep that in mind, right? Even if you feel like you're alone in life, you're on your own, or you make a lot of decisions on your own, you're actually in a team experience, because what you do with your life affects other people in your life. It's that ripple effect I talk about all the time. And on the road too, whether you're driving, traveling alone, the decisions you make on the road of all kinds, what speed you go, the direction you go, how fast or slow you take your turns or make your moves. All those things affect others out there in the world driving around you. So we want to keep in mind that all of life is a team experience, and our actions and our thoughts affect others as well. Number 3, you can go your own way or you can follow along. I find this interesting in driving. Like, I have a rule with myself, and that is that I will stay within 5 miles an hour of the speed limit at all times. Like, so in other words, if the speed limit in an area is 65 miles an hour, I will not go over 70. Okay. Or 55, I won't go over 60, and so on and so forth. That's just my way. That's me going my own way. Now, there are tons of people who go flying past me, right? When I'm doing that, like I'm a turtle on the highway, and they are these speedy rabbits, right? They go their own way. They decide, nah, our way is, we'll go 10 miles per hour past the speed limit, or 15, or whatever they're doing. And then I see others join them, like, oh, okay, they're going faster, I'll go faster. So some people follow along with the behaviors of others, and some don't. Or, when you start to slow down because something's coming up, a construction zone, or maybe there's an accident, or there's a police car on the side of the road, and you start to slow down, others see you slowing down and they follow along. So in driving, we can go our own way, do our own thing, or we can follow along. Same in life. You can follow along, and there can be advantages to that, right? Doing what others are doing, or you can go your own way, create your own path, which can have advantages as well. And by the way, these are in no particular order. I could have taken the time and kind of built on them, but I decided not to, and just do my little brainstorm, get them on paper, and share them with you. So number 4, I use the GPS when I'm traveling in areas I'm not familiar with. I love that thing. I love that it says, hey, in 3 miles, take exit 64 to Robinson Way, or turn right at the next light. Or I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I actually sort of blindly trust it, right? I don't know if you do this, but I do sort of blindly trust it. I think, oh, I entered the right destination. So whatever this thing tells me to do, I'm going to do. I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to do it. Now, I did have a moment where I was like, I knew I needed to go north. Like, I knew I needed to go north in life in this trip. And it was directing me to take a road that was called, whatever the number was, south. And I was like, for a second, I was like, now wait, why is this directing me to go south when I know I need to go like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles north? But I thought, you know what? I don't know what I don't know. I put in the proper destination in this GPS. I just want to trust what it knows that I don't know. And of course, it took me on a little road that was just a transitional road to get me to a major highway that was going to go north for hundreds of miles. And so, the GPS knew more than me. It had a bigger vision, right, of the picture of the travels than I did. And so it's right to trust it. And that's how life is too, in my opinion, that there's something bigger that knows more than we know, that we can just really let lead and trust. And I really like to remember that, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I know for me, I think I have to control everything sometimes. Like, I have to control everything in my life. Like, I think I have to make decisions and take action on everything, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you know what? We don't actually. We can kind of let go and let this something bigger lead, and trust it, because it has what we call a helicopter view. We have a very grounded earth plane view. Like, we can see in front of us for a ways, but we definitely can't see very far with our own eyes. but this something bigger than us has a helicopter view. It can see all the way around, the big, big picture. And so when we trust in that, we will travel better in life, right? Okay. Number 5, our intensity levels tend to change with circumstances on the road and in life, right? Like I drove through some cities, some large metropolitan areas where traffic suddenly is more compact, there's more lanes, there's more and more cars, and people tend to be, rushing to get somewhere. And then at other times, like I was out in wide open rural areas where there were few cars, very little activity going on, kind of thing. And so the intensity could change, right? Also with levels. The faster you're going, maybe the intensity rises in driving, right? You have to be more alert, more, whatever, or we think we do. Rush hours, higher intensity tends to be. Now, in life, it's stress, right? The more stress you're feeling, your intensity level may go up. It tends to go up when you're feeling stressed about something or you're having a stressful event, a stressful circumstance. So I asked myself, how can I maintain my inner calm, my inner peace, no matter what is going on around me? That's what my goal was when I was driving. It was like, okay, I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth area. This is a large metropolitan area. It's lunchtime, so maybe even more people are out on the road to go get their lunch, those that are working during the day. And wow, there's tons of lanes, there's tons of on ramps, off ramps. The traffic is back to back to back to back, or bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper, right? And I could have gotten more uptight, and there was that tendency in me because I'm not a city girl. I don't particularly like that kind of driving. And so I found myself gripping the steering wheel a little tighter, staring, watching, my eyes all over the place, watching to my left, to my right, what's going on, and a little more on high alert. So I noticed that I let my intensity elevate, I let my stress levels go up, and I didn't want to. I wanted to be more at peace, more calm. And so I kept working on that. I kept striving for that. And that is something we can do in life as well. When circumstances start to occur that maybe we don't like, or we're unsure of, we're fearful of, or feel unpredictable to us, or we didn't see it coming, whatever it is, or we just have a lot going on, maybe a lot of events happening in, like the schedule's just loaded up more and more and more right now or something, we can get more intense, but that doesn't necessarily serve us. And so I want you to ask yourself, how can I maintain my inner calm, my inner peace, no matter what is going on around me, whether it's on the road or in the road of life, right? Okay, number 6. Life driving, there were times I went many hours by myself in one day long. I did 800 miles the last day to get home all the way from San Antonio to Lawrence, Kansas, about 800 miles and by myself. And there were times where I was a little like in a lull. I was a little tired, kind of even losing a little time, where you're kind of spaced off on the road. I mean, you're driving, but, then you think, oh, where did those last 5 miles go? I mean, I wasn't asleep, but just that lull you can get in. And I thought, no matter what, the most important thing is for me to stay awake and stay aware. Stay awake, stay aware. Don't get into such a lull while you're driving that you lose your awareness, right? Because then big trouble can happen. Well, that's how life is too, right? We can get in ruts. We can get kind of in routines that aren't necessarily healthy. We can get in relationships that are going nowhere. We can be working a job that we feel, no passion about, all kinds of things. We can get into these lulls and get into habits, bad habits or unhealthy habits that put us in this lull or this, bored state of mind or this blah state of feeling. And we don't want that, right? We want to enjoy life. So we need to stay aware, stay conscious, stay awake, and really be intentional in how we participate in life, just like we need to be intentional when we're driving on the road. Number 7, there are many roads to quote unquote home, right? All roads lead to home. Like there's many, 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 many ways to get home in driving and in life. What is home to you in life? Is it your literal home where you reside? Is it, a person you are in a relationship with? Is it an activity that every time you do it, oh, I'm in my element. Like this is me. This is what I'm meant to do. When you find your most your most content state of being, you are quote unquote home. And there are many roads to get you to all of those places that we might call home. And so there's not just one way to do anything. There's not just one way to get there. There are many roads. So just knowing you want to be there and then take inspired action to get you there. That's what we can do. Number 8, take good care of your quote unquote vehicle, right? Your vehicle. So in a road trip, your vehicle is your car. And you should have seen my husband. He's so sweet. Before I was getting ready to take off on this big old drive, he was like, okay, we need to check the oil. I'm checking the tires. I'm checking the fluids. I'm checking your air filter. I'm checking your spare tire to make sure it's aired up. Check AAA so you can, you've got your card. You can call this number if you have any trouble. Blah 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 blah. I mean, he checked over everything to make sure my car, which I affectionately call Little Red, as I shared before, to make sure Little Red was ready to go, as ready to go as she could be, to have a safe, successful trip. And so he took very good care of my vehicle for me before I ever left. But I got to thinking, and of course, I took care of her on the way as well. But I got to thinking about our vehicles in life, and what are they? Well, I think there are bodies. Our physical bodies is one of our vehicles. Our mind is another thing that gets us through our lives, how we think about things, what we choose, how we feel. All those things are part of our vehicle, getting us around, navigating our lives with us. And we need to take really good care of them, right? It's our way around the human experience. And so you want to take really, really, really good care of your mind, your body, your soul, all of it, because you're taking it with you wherever you go on this earthly experience. Number 9, in driving and in life, kindness and patience goes a long way. A long way. If you can be that driver on the road and that person in life that can be extra patient and kind with the people around you in this team experience, it really does go a long way. So several times there were construction zones where I was driving. And so what did this mean? We went down to one lane several times, many, 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 many cars trying to get down to one lane instead of 2 or 3 or 4. And some people, of course, are trying to blow through those construction zones and get up front and get through it as fast as they can and don't really care what's going on with other drivers. Others are taking turns, like letting one car weave in front of them and then going and letting another car weave in the next car. And then, kind of being very patient, taking time, being aware and kind and patient and letting people get in there. And I find that goes a long way. Like people appreciate that kind of patience and kindness. That people, and one of my pet peeves is people who, I use the cruise control. I like that because my foot is not very steady. So if I don't, I waver in my speed a lot. So it's very important for me to use cruise control, especially when I'm out on the open highway and going many miles at a time, or have a long, steady trip to go. Well, then of course I could sometimes come up to someone who's going slower than me, and so I'm going to pass them, right? So I get in the left lane to pass, And I may not pass them very fast because I may not be going that much faster than them. And then behind me will come up somebody who's really going fast, wants to go really, really fast. And they come up and they are about to touch my back bumper. They are driving so close because they're like, come on, come on, come on, pass the person so I can keep going, 80, 85 miles an hour, whatever, 90, whatever it is, and they're not patient. They're riding my rear as close as they possibly can, which by the way is not smart. That's not smart driving. That's not you not doing the team experience well. Now some would say I'm not being a good team player, that maybe I should just go ahead and bolt ahead at the speed they want to go and get out of the way faster. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do just kind of, okay, I'll go a little faster to get around this truck faster so you can go flying down the road 10, 15 miles, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. But anyway, my point is that when you're riding someone's rear end of their car, you're not doing yourself or them or anybody else a favor, because one little move and then everybody's in trouble. And so having kindness and patience goes a long way. It keeps everybody safer. It really does. It's just a win, 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 win. And so when you're going through those construction zones and stuff, right? Let somebody weave in front of you, slow down a little to let someone else in. You're going to still get where you're going. So in life, same thing, right? When we can be patient, the other day when I got home, I went to get all the groceries because of course we didn't have many left in the refrigerator because we were gone for a week. So I went into the grocery store to get our groceries and I was kind of in a rush. Long story, our electricity had gone out from a storm. We also had our water shut off because we had a pipe leak. It was just, it's kind of one of those, wow, really times in this little window of time, right? When we got back from the strip and I'm trying to get turned around and get back to work because of course I haven't been in my office for a week and have all this work to do, but we need food. So I go into town to get the groceries and I get all these groceries. I get up to the clerk and there was one thing after another. A coupon I tried to use didn't work properly. She was trying so hard to make it work, but it wasn't working properly. Then the manager came to try to make it work. And then I put my credit card, I tapped my credit card, on the thing to pay for the groceries. And it said I exceeded my limit. Well, there is no limit on my credit card and I pay it off completely every month. So I knew that wasn't correct. But anyway, so I said, well, I don't think I have a limit. Should we try it again? She's like, sure, try it again. Nope, said the same thing. I said, okay, never mind. I'll use a different card. So I got out another credit card, which has no limit, which I pay off every month completely. Tapped it. It said the same message on her cash register. So then she's got to get a manager again. We're trying to correct this situation. I'm trying to pay for my groceries. Meanwhile, there's a line of people behind me, waiting. The lady right behind me put all her groceries up on the thing. So she couldn't move to another checkout line, to move through this faster. And I'll be darned, she was so sweet. She was laughing with me. And we smiled and we talked a little bit and laughed. She was so patient. And I was striving to be really patient with the clerk who was trying so hard to get this all corrected. And the manager who came along too and had some confusion herself. And, everybody was being patient and kind. And that goes a long, long, long ways. What good would it have done for me to go, come on, I know my credit card works. I use it all the time, blah, blah, blah. Or what good would it have done if the woman behind me who put all her groceries up on the thing said, come on, lady, let's get going. Come on. It wouldn't have helped anyone. So an extra 5-10 minutes it took. Yes, big deal. I was in a rush that day. Oh, well, everything still got done. I still got everything done that I absolutely had to get done. And so, just that kindness, that patience, it's so simple. It's so simple. And to remember that our agenda in life is not the only agenda going on. And that sometimes things happen that require our patience and kindness. So it's true on the road and it's true in all of life. So the more patient and kind you can be, not only to others, but with yourself. I know a lot of you out there pick on yourselves. You're not patient, you're not kind, you're not compassionate to yourself, but I'm telling you, It starts right there. Let's be more compassionate and kind to ourselves, then it will easily flow out to other people. Okay. All right. And then the last one I thought of on the road was stay fueled. Of course, your car's not going to go anywhere if there's not gas in it. So of course, I was watching the E on my gauge and making sure I gassed her up when she needed it, right? Kept her fueled so she could get down the road. And same is true in life. We've got to keep ourselves fueled, nourished, body, mind, and soul, nourishment and rest and relaxation and play and a good balance, keep ourselves fueled to just keep going day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. So keep yourself fueled in life with lots of love, connection, meaning, passion, nourishment, rest, all those things. And then I have a bonus one because when I shared this with my coaching community, which if you are interested in joining a women's support group where you're coached 4 times a month for a very minimal fee and have the support of other women in midlife going through similar experiences as you. This group of women is so fantastic. I could go on all day about them. But anyway, I shared all this with them last night at our latest group experience together. They loved it. And one of them said, "Hey, I've thought of another one. So shout out to you. You know who you are." And she said, "Stay in your lane." And I thought, ooh, that is a good one too for driving in for life, right? Stay in our lane. We don't want to try to be who we're not in this life, right? Not that we don't want to try new things or whatever, but stay in your lane. You're uniquely and wonderfully made. So just be you, be authentic, be you, stay in your lane, do your thing, be you. That's all you have to be. And of course, in driving, right, we want to stay in our lane. We don't want to be darting out in front of other people or going off the road or, riding on the shoulder, whatever, but we want to stay in our lane. So I thought that was a great bonus tip for our driving and life metaphor. So thank you so much for contributing that. You know who you are. And so everybody out there, when you're driving, think about how driving is a metaphor for life and those rules of the road, how they can really speak to you about how to live your life in such a way that works for you and works for all. And isn't that just the goal? Like when I take care of myself, I know that in some way I am helping others around me be lifted up as well, which makes life better for everybody. So let's just keep that up, shall we? And enjoy the journey as well as the destination. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Life Makeovers podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with those that you think would also benefit from what we're doing here. And I will talk to you again soon.